So about a month ago, I received we'll call it a suggestion from a viewer to cover 300 Blackout on my podcast. And at first I thought, that's stupid. That's dumb. That's a dumb cartridge, right? Everybody gets real into the weeds with these ballistic coefficients. Why do we care about 300 Blackout when we have 7.62x39s? Cheaper, more plentiful, been around longer, right? Turns out I was wrong on just about everything I thought I knew about 300 Blackout. So here is just about everything you need to know about 300 Blackout. So as the story goes, an unnamed military entity, was not able to find out who, approached AAC in 2009 with a request to fire a .30 caliber round out of their AR-15s with making as little changes as possible. They wanted to keep the AR-15 platform as it was. They wanted as little change of parts, change of dimensions, change of operating systems, manual of arms. They wanted to keep it as AR-15 as possible. Why? Why did they not want to make so many changes? Well, because retraining takes money and time and effort. And if they're already familiar, if the guys using those guns are already familiar with how they work, why would you want to go and change it up on them, right? You might have to stock like some weird spare parts or retrain your armorers or stuff like that, right? So they wanted to keep this stuff as simple as they can. They didn't want a big, complicated change. So AAC set out to do the seemingly impossible, convert the AR-15 over to a .30 caliber projectile without making hardly any changes, keeping it as stock and standard as possible. Well, AAC is a pretty smart company, and they decided not to start with the rifle, but to start with the round that it fired. So at the time, there existed something you might have heard of. Have you ever heard of 300 Whisper? Yeah, that's right, 300 Whisper. 300 Whisper was also known as 300 Fireball or 300 221, but the name that was really popular and stuck around was 300 Whisper. And surprise, surprise, 300 Whisper was actually invented by a bunch of crazy rednecks in Ohio, the same crazy rednecks that brought you the 950 JDJ. Yeah. Yeah, baby! Yeah, these guys really seem to love short, chode-looking cartridges, but chodes get the job done, ladies. So anyways, 300 Whisper was technically considered a Wildcat cartridge. And since this was a military customer that wanted an accurate and reliable weapons platform, they had to set the standard for pressure, chamber sizes, brass dimensions for this weirdo hillbilly cartridge they were building guns around. So AAC went to the guys at Sammy with all their data and dimensions to standardize this round, and wouldn't you have it, the word Whisper was actually trademarked by a company called SSK, also out of Ohio. So quick on their feet, they just decided to rename the round that they were using from the beginning, which was 300 Whisper, to 300 AAC Blackout, which I think is an infinitely cooler name. I have had way cooler experiences blacking out than I ever have whispering. 300 Blackout allowed AAC to accomplish everything they set out to do. They were able to maintain a stock AR-15 bolt. They were even able to maintain the 30-round magazine capacity with only very slight modifications to a standard AR-15 M4 M16 magazine. That magazine standardization is actually a really big deal and led to the great success of 300 Blackout, because at the time, or even really still today, the only .30 caliber round with a standard 30-round magazine capacity is 7.62x39. And 7.62x39 standard AK magazines are bigger, bulkier, heavier, and quite frankly have Peyronie's disease. But hey, that's a totally normal and natural thing. These just slide in a little differently than the ones that are less curved. But the good stuff didn't stop there. 300 Blackout actually maintains its kinetic energy better at any distance than standard M193, even when it's fired from a shorter barrel. In fact, that's where 300 Blackout really shines, is in short barrel lengths. The larger diameter case neck and the larger, heavier projectile actually make 300 Blackout a very efficient cartridge from a powder burning perspective. It actually burns more of its powder in less barrel length than the comparative 223. 300 Blackout is also less prone to overpenetration because it's got a bigger frontal cross-sectional area than 223. God, there's so many dick jokes in this. I can't stop. Consider that, and its incredible performance suppress, both from sound signature and reliability, makes 300 Blackout an incredible choice for a civilian PDW. And maybe the best thing about 300 Blackout is its versatility. Hornady alone makes 10 different 300 Blackout chamberings, from supersonic to subsonic to 110 grains to 208 grains, and for all sorts of different applications. Real quick, who the fuck is shooting prairie dogs with these? What are you doing? Either way, that's a very wide range of bullet weights, even compared to something like the tried and true 223 or 556 or even 762x39. And if you're a hand loader, this is a dream cartridge. Guess what? You can make 300 Blackout brass from 223 brass, which is literally everywhere. They use small rifle primers, which used to be cheap and easy to find. There's a pretty decent amount of case capacity. And probably the coolest part of reloading 300 Blackout is that they use 308 bullets. Regular, standard, off the shelf, everywhere at once, 308 bullets. Hornady alone has 62 different 308 bullets available on their website. 62. You should be able to find something for anything you're trying to do, including shooting prairie dogs. What? So after all this, my mind has really changed. In fact, I think 300 Blackout is the best cartridge we have seen in the last decade. And that's not just my opinion. It has withstood the test of time. There's proof everywhere. Remember 224 Valkyrie? Me neither. How about 6.8 SPC? Cool cartridge, but who cares? 30 Super Carry? That's about as dead as the FUDs that think reinventing 9mm was a good idea. Just give that some time. It'll die too. But that's not the case with 300 Blackout. 300 Blackout is everywhere. Almost every major firearms manufacturer has an offering in 300 Blackout. It's seen adoption by a bunch of military units, not just US units either, all over the globe. Even the FUDs love it for that weird steel silhouette shooting thing that they do. So I was wrong about 300 Blackout. I really was. Everything I said about 300 Blackout today, from its technical perspective, all the problems it solves, to its wide-scale industry use, is a testament to how great of a round it is. It is also a testament to how dangerous and crazy and somehow good engineers wild, crazy Ohio rednecks are. That's where this all started somehow. Anyways, I hope you learned something today, because I had an absolute blast writing this and learning about stuff that I didn't know. So unless you forget to hit that like or subscribe button, we'll catch you here next time.